On a cold winter night, the residents of the Al Warud neighborhood were awakened by the sound of police sirens filling the quiet streets. A gruesome murder had occurred in the Al Saad mansion, known for the luxury of its inhabitants and their wide social connections. The victim was Jack, a successful businessman with many enemies due to his daring deals. His body was found in his office with a gunshot wound to the head. The door was locked from the inside, and there were no signs of forced entry or breaking. Detective Andro arrived at the crime scene and began analyzing the situation. He noticed that the windows were tightly closed from the inside, making it seem as if the crime could only have been committed from within the room. However, Detective Andro suspected that the situation was more complicated. While searching the office, the detective found a small piece of thin string near the window. This string was the first point that aroused his suspicions. He also noticed a small bag of sand in the corner of the room. Adding further complexity to the case, Andro began questioning everyone present in the mansion at the time of the crime. There were the servant, the cook, and the victim's son, James. They all insisted that they did not hear any gunshot, leading the detective to believe that the weapon used might have been silenced. After analyzing the fingerprints and forensic evidence, James's prints were found on the bag of sand and the string, prompting the detective to interrogate him intensively. Finally, under pressure, James confessed to the details of his crime. James had been suffering from massive financial problems due to gambling debts and learned that his father was planning to disinherit him. He devised a meticulous plan to kill his father without getting caught. On the fateful night, James sneaked into his father's room before he locked the door and hung a gun tied to the string on the edge of the window. At midnight, he pulled the string from outside, causing the gun to fire the shot that killed his father. Afterwards, he pulled the string and hid the gun in the garden, but he forgot to remove some small pieces of evidence that led the detective to him. Detective found that the door was locked from the inside, suggesting the possibility of either a suicide or the killer still being inside, but the lack of any signs of forced entry ruled out these possibilities. He noticed that the windows were tightly shut from the inside, adding complexity to the case. The detective found a small piece of thin string near the window. This piece seemed out of place, raising his suspicions. He also noticed a small bag of sand in the corner of the room, which was unusual for a businessman's office. After thoroughly searching the room, fingerprints of James, the victim's son, were found on the bag of sand and the string. This discovery was crucial. The detective took samples of the string and sand and sent them for analysis in forensic labs, which confirmed they matched tools that could be used to fire a bullet in an innovative way. Detective Andro questioned everyone present in the mansion at the time of the crime, including the servant, the cook, and the victim's son, James. He noticed inconsistencies in James's statements and some nervousness in his behavior, leading him to focus more on James. The detective reconstructed the crime using the string and the bag of sand. He discovered that it was possible to fix a gun on the window ledge and pull the string from outside to fire the shot. This theory matched the traces and evidence found at the crime scene. Under pressure and continuous questioning, James confessed to his crime. He explained how he planned to kill his father by firing the shot remotely using the string and the sandbag to stabilize the gun. His primary motive was to avoid the massive debts he had accumulated due to gambling, and his fear that his father would disinherit him.